This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Makers, and one of the things that we saw happen at E3, at least that I picked up, that I noticed, is that there's still a huge divide between the Western mentality, or should I say North American mentality of gaming, and the what would be the best way to put it? The worldly mentality of gaming, I guess you could say. They're two different views, and you can say that this mentality lies in what a lot of people like to call the hardcore gamers, people who feel like they're seriously into gaming. There's a split within that division, because the North American mentality, as I like to call it, tends to lean to a certain type of games. I a lot of times feel like us North Americans, especially us Americans in the United States, have this very finite type of gaming style that we will flock to, and I recognize it within myself too. I'm not just saying that this is something that I see in other people that I don't approve of or I don't agree with, because I've noticed it within myself a lot too. What I'm talking about is, alright, so Sony and Microsoft's two conferences, you kind of saw it with the reactions that people had. While Sony got great reception and critical acclaim for their press conference, you'll notice that a lot of people didn't necessarily quote-unquote vibe with it or with everything that they shown. A lot of people's feelings is that Sony didn't really have anything that they liked, and that Microsoft, for the most part, went huge with showing things that they liked. And it was two very different, distinct styles, and I can understand why people would say that. Microsoft went with, again, what I call the North American mentality of things. You saw a lot of shooters, a lot of action games, and some open world stuff. And I think that is the North American mentality. Action, open world, shooters. Those are the games that they flock to. The fourth in that category being, I would say, sports. Sports is heavy in North America. Outside of North America, I think it's just a hodgepodge of different things. People, they'll play games for artistic style. They'll play games for, their emotional stories. They'll gravitate to things that are a little more complex. The strange, the extraordinary, the uncanny type of stuff. Basic way to break this down is Microsoft was Halo, Gears, and Fallout, which it's funny because I always found the RPG genre split in that aspect as well, because American style of RPG is very distinctive from Japanese style of RPG. American style is action orientated. You look at a game like Fallout, it rates so high because it is more action orientated, and the grind is masked by that level of action, whereas a game like Final Fantasy VII, very grindy. It has great action, but you're taken out of the action a little bit more with the turn-based style. You're not quote-unquote as hands involved, as with American style RPGs. And story means a lot more, plus the grind is real. And I know a lot of people who were like, yeah, I wasn't all that into Final Fantasy because the pace, whatever, things like that. I mean, the characters, you know, it's a different style of telling a story. So that's basically how I look at this. And I think that if you felt like Microsoft did better, hey, good on you. I personally think they both did a great job, but I think they both went different directions. Microsoft knows where their fan base's mentality lies at. They know where their best market is, and they market towards their market. Whereas Sony marketed to everybody. They are huge all over the world, and they're gamers who have different flavors all over. That's why you see a game such as Last Guardian next to a game like Hitman, next to a game like Shenmue, next to a game like Uncharted, next to a game like Final Fantasy VII, next to a game like Street Fighter V, and so on, because Sony's fan base is all over the place with what they like, whereas Microsoft definitely sticks to their home base, and that's why Microsoft usually dominates North America. And I honestly think that eventually they will gain the lead back in North America because they know how to appeal to the North American mentality, whereas Sony has always been the type of company that we want to appeal to a broader base of gamer, and that's, you know, pretty much what they do. That's what it's pretty much going to be doing, always. You know, this is just how both of the companies are built and how they make their money. Neither philosophy is wrong. I just always noticed that huge distinction between the two companies, and that's a huge distinction amongst gamers as a whole. It's always, you know, been that way as far as I'm concerned. I just think it's just something that people don't recognize. I think that's why a lot of people can dismiss certain things and try to say. That's why I always don't get into the who wins type of thing, because at the end of the day, it's generally based on what you're into and what you like, and not necessarily whether or not you think that the company did a better job overall of presenting their material. It's all about what you like, and that's why I feel like people need to stop doing that who won E3 thing, because if you have a certain type of mentality towards gaming, you're never going to pick someone who doesn't appeal to what you like ultimately. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a waste for me to sit here and like thumbs up, thumbs down, you're better, you're worse. And I think this is one of the flaws of the whole fanboy wars that we have with these consoles. But anyway, this food for thought. You guys hit me up, let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.